In the minds of Street Outlaws Memphis viewers, Mallory Gully embodied the confident redhead who, despite the presence of fast cars and even faster talk, could keep her composure, drop her arms, and count her money. Yet a real driver who chased excitement with some of the South's biggest names lurked behind that serene smile. In a scene where men predominated, she stood out with her car, the Ugly Duckling, and her fearless energy. Just as quickly, she vanished, leaving behind an eerie silence. What actually transpired? Nobody expected there to be so much more going on with Mallory's unexpected disappearance. Suits, marital strife, and cryptic social media posts are all part of the story, and there may be more than just emotional wounds from the truth. A lot more goes into Mallory Gully than the money girl stereotype. She did more than just hand out cash to runners on TV, though. Coming from a long line of car enthusiasts, she has spent her entire life working behind the scenes in the racing industry. She came from a small, tight-knit family and was born on March 9, 1996 in Jonesboro, Arkansas. The Gully family, Carrie Sanders and Kenneth Gadir, raised her and her sister Natalie. If you're familiar with Kenneth, the name Gully might sound familiar to you. Her father, Kenneth Gully, was famous even before Mallory had a racing career. He started the auto parts and sales company Gully Garage. In addition to being a successful businessman, Kenneth has spent his whole life obsessing over automobiles. Throughout his nearly 25 years of racing, he never stopped seeking speed and consistently produced some of the track's fastest vehicles. One of his most renowned vehicles was the 2003 Chevrolet S10 Bounty Hunter. When Mallory developed an interest in racing, it was for a reason. Going to the tracks with her dad and learning about the culture has been a part of her life for as long as she can remember. Mallory also rose to prominence in the racing industry thanks to Kenneth's friendship with J.J. DeBoss. Following that, she followed in her sister Natalie's footsteps and enrolled at Arkansas State University. No matter where her life went, racing was always a component of it. She has always had a soft spot for racing and the noise of engines because she came from a family that saw cars as more than just a mode of transportation. She maintains an active role in her family's businesses, Gully Bale Bonds and keg towing. Watching street races with her dad piqued her interest in racing. They were often seen together at races, particularly those featuring the legendary J.J. DeBoss, a street racer. She felt compelled to jump right into the action after reading this. She became an expert in every area, from constructing cars to driving them with confidence. As soon as she got in her own car, I could tell she wasn't merely observing. She raced with skill, concentration, and enthusiasm. Those days of her standing outside and handing out prizes are over. Now she gets to bask in the limelight in her beloved 1964 Chevrolet, the Ugly Duckling, a vibrant shade of purple. This is a perfect name for Mallory because, like the protagonist in the story, she has transformed from an observer to an influential driver. She has grown up around cars, but she is only now mastering the track. However, her resolve is undeniable. Chelsea Day, another courageous female driver, is greatly credited by her for inspiring her. Beyond their shared love of racing, Mallory admires her and considers her a role model. Their mutual support motivates them to improve. After landing a job on Street Outlaws Memphis, Mallory's life took a dramatic turn. Still, she got more out of that show than simply airtime. She was able to demonstrate her abilities to the world. At the track, she had gone from being someone's daughter or friend to a racer in her own right, carving out her niche and proving she wasn't going anywhere. In the wildly successful Street Outlaws series, there is a spin-off game called Street Outlaws Memphis. Once again, the game delves headfirst into Memphis's raucous street racing culture. Everything started when Discovery Channel's Street Outlaws creators Pilgrim Media Group approached J.J. DeBoss about developing a show about his Memphis crew. Initially, J.J. was oblivious to it. When J.J. was asked by CEO Sam Kokos what it would take to convince him to join, JJ was honest. Anything that appeared staged or orchestrated was something he wanted nothing to do with. Yet, JJ, being JJ, decided everything. If they were prepared to capture events as they unfolded without editing or directing, he indicated he might be interested. Unscripted, live, action-packed street footage. Everything has been going according to plan ever since Sam gave his approval. Things shown on Street Outlaws Memphis are as they are, unfiltered, unrehearsed, and full of surprises. The streets of Memphis are adorned with more than just fast cars driven by locals. They add a new level of thrill. They have a gritty, historically informed style. The other teams are even more formidable than before, and JJ and his crew are returning for another season. Texans, Detroiters, and people from all over the nation will put Memphis to the test. However, for JJ, it has always been Memphis versus the rest of the world. As leader of the Memphis Outlaws, JJ adheres to a traditional set of regulations. To turn it on, you won't find any flashy lights or mechanical indication. It comes off as soon as he lowers his arms. In his mind, it's a race, if you catch his drift. Pay little attention to the prologue or the slow motion sequences. Additionally, he claims that street runners in the past did not have access to surveillance technology such as cameras. Rather than getting into altercations, they made do with what they had and their vehicles to fix problems during the race. Races in Memphis are more than simply a sport. They are a way of life for many families. With JJ are 5 generations of racers. Trisha, his wife, Doughboy, and Precious, his niece. Obviously, they're not merely racing for glory, they're vying for honor, riches, and perhaps even more profound rewards. However, each time they form a queue, they are aware of what is at stake. It only takes a slip-up for you to ruin everything. On a track, you won't encounter anything dangerous, but on the streets, there are many unknowns. According to JJ, anything can happen. Perhaps someone else is tampering with the starting line, the surface is dusty, or it's evening dew. No safety crew is present outside. If you make a mistake, you could die. This highlights the significance of the relationship between a driver and their vehicle. According to JJ, you should know yourself inside and out, and the same goes for your car. Varieties of streets always present unique challenges, and staying in sync with your machine is crucial for success. Street racing, however, poses risks to more than simply the roads themselves. The individuals involved also make it a risky proposition. Naughty brawls can break out over bets in no time. It only takes one slip-up for things to spiral out of control. Accordingly, mutual regard and direction are paramount. As JJ has witnessed firsthand, chaos ensues when decisive action is lacking. In his universe, killing people and making money are 2 of the many possible outcomes. If everyone maintains their composure and collaborates, nothing will go wrong. Such devotion serves as a weapon for the Memphis Outlaws. These racers aren't assembled on the fly. People who are considered family, regardless of their blood ties. The trust and shared experiences that have developed over the years have strengthened these bonds. Being so close helps them navigate the street's chaos. To one another, they will always turn in an emergency. According to JJ, this is their survival mechanism. He had no choice but to be born into this life. Street racing was a family tradition that ran through all of his generations. It's a tradition that has been preserved through the years, not merely a pastime. With every street race, bet and fight, they maintain that tradition alive. In my hometown, street racing is more than a hobby. It's a family affair. In 2018, Mallory made her debut. People referred to her as the money girl because she oversaw JJ's cash bets during the races, even though she was only 22 years old. Still, she wasn't idly holding the cash. She was also crucial behind the scenes. She was instrumental in organizing the races and ensuring their success. She contributed significantly to the team right away, and her sincerity became apparent to everyone quickly. Mallory enjoyed going for long drives. She had to beat some tough street competitors to get there. Things, however, went berserk as soon as she joined. Kenneth Gully, her father, and J.J. DeBoss were named in a public case that came to light in September 2018. Claire and Jenny Lorcan's business partner, Chad, forwarded the lawsuit to the Discovery Channel. While filming the show, they were allegedly subjected to abuse. The story goes that Kenneth and another man they dubbed the Bounty Hunter pursued Chad, began punching him, and then threw him to the floor. According to Chad, he felt a searing agony radiate through his leg the second he landed, as if something had ripped. After he fell, he continued to take punches and kicks to the ribs, according to him. To be honest, he believed they were plotting his murder. Additionally, the claim stated that the camera crew did nothing but continue recording throughout this period. The person in charge even instructed the cameraman to move closer in order to capture a better shot. Things took a turn for the worse when Jenny offered assistance. A member of the Memphis Street Outlaws team allegedly grabbed her by the back of the head and yanked her hair, causing her physical and mental harm, according to the lawsuit. Despite all that drama, Discovery Channel remained mum on the matter, but things were only just getting started. Fans would recognize some familiar faces as well as some new ones when Season 3 premiered. For the first time since that horrific accident, Kenneth Gully was driving his S10 Bounty Hunter. Among the most shocking results, this occurred. The real twist, though, was that his daughter Mallory believed it was her moment to shine. Jumping into Zippy, she learned the proper way to race on the streets of Memphis, quickly, dirtily, and fearlessly, with the support of Precious, JJ, and the rest of the Memphis crew. Every race had insane bets because so much money was at risk. Any race seemed capable of transforming the world. The DeBoss family was known for their unbridled grit, local hustle, and raw street skills. They had to navigate rough back roads in West Virginia and deal with big, tired speed freaks as they left Ohio. Subsequently, the commotion and disdain were introduced by Detroit. The Memphis Outlaws, meanwhile, were hell-bent on winning in true Memphis fashion. By Season 4, the intensity had been amplified to the maximum. They faced off against some of the nation's top street racers. It was about more than just pride. It was about surviving, making a name for... It was a make-or-break situation for JJ and his squad. Racing at a breakneck pace, they were placing massive bets. With each race came the chance to either lose or win, and they were prepared for either. But they rode passionately, putting their hearts on the line to secure first place, regardless of the outcome. Under her new alias, Molly, Mallory was no longer content to merely follow along. Risking everything, she got in a brand new car she dubbed the Ugly Duckling. In her inaugural street race, she was defeated by a formidable Kentucky squad. She was prepared to lead Memphis and bring joy to her people, despite having only competed in one arm drop run before. Along the way, she was helped by strong people. Under J.J. DeBoss's leadership, a new generation of drivers emerged, one that included many strong women who were not afraid to prove themselves. Mallory had a lot of trust in Kenneth, her dad, even though he didn't race cars professionally anymore. He was knowledgeable about cars and had been in many races. Chelsea, Doughboy's wife, was a new addition to the family this season. She was sick of sitting on the sidelines and decided to prove that racing was in her DNA by donning her racing suit and getting behind the wheel. Memphis was also no longer the sole focus. Travis Harvey, better known as the Carolina Kid in the streets, was one of the new racers. Someone was ready to show it to them. He sent an entire Virginia squad to cause a commotion and stir things up. Renowned figures were also making an appearance. Ronnie Pace representing Texas, Chris Block representing North Carolina, and Quinn representing Kentucky, who was still vying for victory in their ongoing rivalry with JJ. Whether you were a complete novice or a seasoned pro, every race offered a chance to win big. The Memphis Street Outlaws and JJ DeBoss, however, remained unchanged. They wanted to get rich quick and live the Memphis way, which was all they knew how to do. However, the subsequent events would astound viewers and pique their curiosity. When Mallory Gulley didn't appear in Street Outlaws Memphis Season 5, many were surprised. Being so confident in her abilities as a driver and member of the MSO team made her one of the most captivating characters on the show. Her fans were understandably perplexed and started to wonder why she vanished without a trace. Ever since, the subject has lingered. Many of her followers are wondering when she will return to her Instagram page. Some even went so far as to leave her heartfelt notes under holiday photos, inquiring about her return and lamenting the fact that they had missed watching her pilot the Ugly Duck. However, Mallory never responded. Completely silent, not a single affirmative or negative response. The network has been completely silent on the matter. Also, Mallory has been silent on the matter in her social media posts. When there was silence, it felt even more strange. By the time Mallory left the show, it appeared like she was devoting more time to her private life. She talked about how much she loved her family and how much she needed a break from her hectic life on social media. Zach King was the guy she was seeing in 2020. Photos from their fun activities and vacations were proudly displayed. However, as of late, almost all of those pictures have vanished, and Zach's Instagram displays absolutely no images of her whatsoever. It is possible the chapter has concluded. After her race was over, Mallory switched gears and did something else. In order to improve the appearance of her house, she collaborated with Hope Gabriella, an artist from Glamorization. Hope went so far as to post photos of her new living room on Facebook, referring to it as her bachelorette pad. Mallory adored perusing the images of her inviting and intimate space. When she wasn't at home, she spoke out in other areas. Regarding political matters, Mallory's opinions are crystal clear. She continued to attend Donald Trump events after the 2020 election, the most recent being in June 2022 to demonstrate her support for the candidate. When she's not at a party or the beach, she's helping out at Gully Bail Bonds, the family business, alongside her dad. As a sister at Gully Bail Bonds, Mallory assists clients in obtaining their release from jail by serving as a bail bond agent on their behalf. The company even has a channel on YouTube where they post cheap bounty hunter videos that mimic the style and tone of Phony Cops episodes. This video is a bit distracting and shares the same energy as her previous Instagram video where she had written God, Guns, and Trump next to a Trump figure. Going through her Facebook page at a quick glance reveals the same thing. There are a few pieces of content that veer towards conspiracy theories, and she has written in favor of controversial ideas like the idea that Brittany Griner should be jailed in Russia. On most days, you can find Mallory helping out with the businesses that her family runs. The Gully Bail Bonds also include Tokeg and Keg Motorsports. Her earning story is still told on Street Outlaws. She has also been the victor in several races throughout the years. The question of her return to the show remains unanswered. Nothing has changed or been added. The Ugly Duck has a devoted following that hopes she'll return to performing with him in the future.